the news seems easy, but we put thought into what we're doing. The Bahamas Tonight Access Now, here to inform, educate, and entertain. A new type of newscast featuring social media trends, news from around the islands, interviews with the people you like, sports, weather, and fabulous entertainment. That's a Bahamas Tonight Access Now with Marcellus Hall and LaDon Davis. Live, starting September 16th. Clint Watson has been the trusted voice of journalism for over 2 decades. He is your first choice for hard-hitting discussions, your best choice for current affairs issues and investigative journalism. It's time to start the journey of relentless journalism. It's time to start the journey of facts over fiction. It's time for the Rundown with Clint Watson here on ZNS, where only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
At the House of Assembly, I'm Makush Lapinder. This is ZNS.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Here's a look at tonight's top stories. PLP chairman hits back at opposition leaders' claims about the Grand Lucayan and Grand Bahama Airport. Plus, police investigate a triple stabbing that left 1 man dead and 2 others in hospital. And a wanted man turning himself into police, and we've got it on camera.
The Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition starts now.
We're dedicated to fixing it, and while there may be some ups and downs and delays, we promise that we'll keep working on the project until we get it done.
Progressive Liberal Party Chairman and Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Honorable Fred Mitchell, firing back tonight. Good evening, everyone. I'm Raven Davis. Thank you so much for tuning in. The opposition leader, Michael Pintard, accusing the Davis administration of failing to keep promises regarding the Grand Lucayan Resort and the island's airport. In this report, Cleopatra Murphy tells us the PLP chairman dismisses those claims.
PLP Chairman and Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Honorable Fred Mitchell, is dismissing F&M leader Michael Pintard's criticism after he accused government of making idle promises after Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis expressed optimism on finalizing a deal for the Grand Lucayan sale within 2 weeks or so at September 19th OPM press briefing. Pintard says the time has passed with no pronouncements. However, Mitchell insists there's been continued progress on both ends.
If you know what the Prime Minister was saying is that he didn't give a definitive time. He just said the matter's been working on, and with the best will, we hope that it would have gotten done within 14 days or so. So, you know, that's the complete answer to that. These things are sometimes more complicated than you expect. And there's some ups and downs, but there's progress being made, and I'm sure that in a relatively short time you'll hear something more about this. So I think people should stand by.
Mitchell hit out at Pintard, who he says sat in cabinet for 4.5 years and agreed to the Port Authority dumping the Grand Lucayan on government for $1, when he says it will take around $250 million to fix.
There are complicated issues, like it's on a floodplain. And so considerable excavation has to take place in order to protect flooding again. So that means special design work has to be done.
Pintard also criticized that Grand Bahamians are anxiously awaiting the property's sale to benefit from opportunities, but are being strung along by the Davis administration. But Mitchell insists help is on the way.
This is going to be a problem that the Bahamas government is going to fix for Freeport. We're dedicated to fixing it. And while there may be some ups and downs and delays, we promise that we'll keep working on the project until we get it done.
Outside of the Grand Lucayan, he says there are significant developments like Carnival Celebration Key, the Grand Bahama Shipyard, and RCL, adding that the PLP has a record of improving the island's economy, and with developments on tap for the island, it is anticipated 6 million tourists will visit Grand Bahama in 2027.
You're going to need lots of workers, you're going to need lots of investment, Bahamian investment, lots of new houses to be developed. The airport will be well underway. The cruise ports will be finished. So good things are coming. and the Afro-Caribbean market, that's coming. So be assured that our hands are on the wheel.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Cleopatra Murphy.
In other news, police on Grand Bahama are investigating the fatal stabbing of an adult male that occurred at a business establishment on Sunday, October 13th, 2024. In this report, Shalia Roll speaks with the officer in charge of criminal investigations, providing a detailed account of the incident, parts of which were caught on video.
A family is left grieving following a stabbing incident at a popular business establishment on Polaris Drive in the Caravelle Beach area on Sunday night. A large fight erupted in the parking lot of said business establishment. Police officers were called on the scene shortly after, where they de-escalated the situation, but it was too late as 3 men were stabbed and later taken to the Rand Memorial Hospital. When arriving at the hospital, 2 of the stabbing victims were treated for their injuries. The 3rd male was also transported to the hospital with multiple stab wounds to his lower body and back. He was attended to by medical personnel, but no vital signs of life were detected. Soon after, he was pronounced dead. While Detective Chief Superintendent Darrell Ware, Sr., officer in charge of the Criminal Investigations Department in the Northern Bahamas, says that this investigation is still in the preliminary stages, but they do have a number of people in custody assisting with this investigation.
Currently, we have 5 male suspects in custody who is currently assisting us with this investigation.
Chief Superintendent Ware says that police officials are working with the DPP to make charges in this case.
In the coming days, to have a consultation with the DPP with intention of laying charges before the week is out or by early next week.
Now, this is a developing story, and we will continue to provide updates as the investigation continues. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Shalia Roll.
Just one station.
ZNS cameras capturing the moment a wanted man turned himself in to police a few weeks after facing significant scrutiny from concerned parents and a wanted poster being issued for procurement and cruelty to children. Kimio McIntosh, principal of Belmont Oak Christian Academy, surrendering to authorities at the Central Police Station. Matthew Martinborough has more details in this report.
Several weeks after an all-points bulletin poster was issued by police for procuration and cruelty to children, Kimio McIntosh turns himself in as he was escorted by his lawyer, Paco Deal, and his mother shortly after 10 Tuesday morning. Last September, Kimio McIntosh and his venture, Belmont Oak Christian Academy, faced significant backlash for operating without proper authorization from key authorities, including the National Accreditation Equivalency Council of the Bahamas and the Grand Bahama Port Authority. One parent told ZNS News she was shocked to find the school had no electricity on the first day, among other concerns. These issues prompted parents to file complaints with the police, leading to a wanted poster being issued for the principal as part of the investigation.
If you notice, recently we issued a wanted poster for a young man, and we've used that charge, and that is because we wish to talk with that young man as it relates to him allegedly procuring a young person under the age of 18 to have sexual intercourse right here in the Bahamas.
On Tuesday, October 15th, Kimio McIntosh turned himself into police, accompanied by his attorney, Paco Deal. While details about the ongoing case remain limited, Deal stated that hope is not lost for his client.
Mr. McIntosh has been in contact with me for the past few days, making arrangements to bring him into the police and, to answer these allegations and defend himself. So that's about the most I can say as it relates to this matter. As I said, it's an ongoing investigation.
McIntosh's mother, Aretha McIntosh, also appearing beside him as he went into custody.
Like I told him, I wish him well, and I hope he get through this. And know that God is on his side. No matter what happens, he can be okay.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Matthew Martinborough.
More news from the crime beat. Police on Grand Bahama are busy searching for a gray-colored Chevrolet Silverado truck, license plate unknown. The vehicle was stolen from Sunset Village Fish Fry on Monday, October 14th, 2024. Tonight, police are appealing to members of the public to be on the lookout for this stolen vehicle. Anyone with information related to this matter, please contact Police Emergency at 911-919, the Criminal Investigation Department in Grand Bahama, the Abe Maroc Police Station, or Crime Stoppers at 300-8476. Well, after encountering challenges due to the impact of Hurricane Milton, which disrupted fixed services in Bimini, BTC officials say the issue has been resolved and services have since been restored.
Once the issue was identified, relevant crews were deployed and we were able to successfully restore services to Bimini. Do know we are currently addressing a few pockets in South Bimini that we expect to be fully restored in the next 24 hours.
And still to come.
Coming up, highlights from the National Honors Investiture Ceremony, plus sports and a whole lot more.
There are some things that are undeniably Bahamian. A good count salad, junkanoo, the way we worship, the way we take care of one another, all undeniably Bahamian. And right in the midst of our iconic things, places, and people is Commonwealth Bank. Increasing access, sponsoring dreams, working alongside Bahamians to increase the quality of their lives for more than 60 years. Commonwealth Bank, nothing more than being Bahamian. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
Down and see what Dolly Madison has in store for you. Renovate and rejuvenate at Dolly Madison.
The Grand Bahama Home for the Aged is celebrating its 34th anniversary with a tasty grill out and raffle. Steak, chicken or fish, and grilled vegetables. Get your tickets today. Phone 352-5408 or 441-3081 for more information.
The Paint Fair family has made the move to their new location on Bellevue Lane off of Queens Highway. Visit the store and join the selfie competition to win free paint to remake your home. Follow them on Instagram or Facebook for all the details today.
Black Palm is a convenience store in Hannah Hill, 8 Mile Rock that also offers import services. Place an order, schedule delivery, and pickup at the store. Open Sunday to Saturday, 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Phone 348-1178 for more information. Black Palm.
Elevate your customer service with the My Grand Bahama Customer Service Training 2.0 sessions run from October 30th to November 1st at the Susan J. Wallace Center. Register by October 25th at bit.ly/mygb. Limited seats available, so sign up today.
Here at Freeport Decorators, we have hundreds of products for you to choose from. Whether you're in the market for trophies, plaques, rubber stamps, corporate signs, any kind of interior signage, stamps, or seals, we're your one-stop shop. We feature glass, acrylic, crystal awards for every occasion. We build all the trophies here on site. Looking for a gift item? We feature pens, key rings, mugs, tumblers, barbecue tools, even bamboo cutting boards. Have something already? Bring it on down. Let us see if we can print that special something on it for you. Need a headstone? Memorialize the memory of your loved one with a beautifully lasered granite marker. Our store hours are Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. We focus on customization. So if you have an idea or a new concept, bring it on down or call us at 352-5557 or even WhatsApp your idea to us at 646-0777 and we will do our best to make your awards and recognition ideas a reality.
Your number one team in the North. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
Welcome back. Nearly 400 Bahamians honored in the nation's capital, including 12 from the northern Bahamas. A special investiture ceremony taking place at the Bahama Convention Center. Our Jolanda Thompson Everest has the details.
Officially honored and recognized, nearly 400 residents from across the Bahamas taking center stage at the Bahama Convention Center to receive awards of distinction for their significant contributions to the nation's success and resilience. Politicians, pastors, educators, healthcare providers, and public servants were congratulated by the Governor General, Her Excellency the Most Honorable Mother Cynthia A. Pratt, followed by encouraging remarks from the Prime Minister and the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Family and friends provided strong support, celebrating this proud moment as their loved ones received their awards. The ceremony featured musical renditions and solo selections, met with applause from government officials, corporate leaders, and attendees, all united in honoring these exceptional individuals.
Each one of our honorees tells a story of hard work, of service, and of the determination to uplift others. These are not just individual accolades. They represent the shared spirit of our people.
The Prime Minister emphasizing that the ceremony reflects what can be achieved as a country when there is a commitment to a common goal.
When we are driven by a sense of purpose and when we believe in the possibilities that lie ahead.
The Honorable Fred Mitchell, Minister of Foreign Affairs, also delivering remarks expressing gratitude to the Advisory Committee for their careful selection process in honoring the recipients.
The highest honor to a Bahamian is that of national hero, but that category is so specifically defined that there's a limiting factor.
The Foreign Affairs Minister says the journey continues and adds that there's still more work to be done.
This is not America, and this is not the United Kingdom. This is the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Every day, we must fight for our identity in small things and in big things, at the United Nations and here at home.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Jolanda Thompson, Everest.
Thanks, Jolanda. In other news, all roads led to McLeanstown Monday as hundreds of tourists and Bahamians gathered to attend an annual cultural event one officials are hailing as a success and as an economic driver for the community. Cleopatra Murphy was there and has the details in this report.
The 52nd annual McLeanstown Concracking Festival had it all as festival goers converged on the seaside community over the National Heroes Day holiday on Monday. Member of Parliament for East Grand Bahama and one of the event sponsors, Kwesi Thompson, says it is all about having fun and getting money circulated.
It is an economic boom for the community, and all of the proceeds of what is happening here goes back into rebuilding the communities in East Grand Bahama. So it is for a good cause. You're getting good food, good music for a good cause.
From the games to the food to the music, Bahamian culture was on full display, and officer in the Ministry of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, Anya Hanna, counts the experience it gave visitors and locals alike as a huge success, while a local vendor says sales were booming.
It's a good thing for not only the vendors, but for our locals to be a part of and to take part, to have fun, and to see authentically Bahamian culture displayed on stage, from our live entertainment to we have arts and craft as well as just a taste of Kong salad, and to see, we have Chunknu at our festivals as well, and so to see visitors come and experience that as well as locals and be immersed in that, it's a beautiful thing.
And the fun is staying here. The fun is here, and that's good for the Bahamian people.
What's concracking without the competition? Chicago resident Greg Regaley not only competed but won, scoring a trophy to take home.
It was a surprise, but I'm proud. I'm proud of the effort I made. What surprised me the most was how much the conch sprayed at me when I first opened it.
Residents enjoying the entertainment from the police pop band and the overall atmosphere gave the event high praise.
It's going wonderful. I'm liking it.
It's very fun, and when the music just hits me.
I'm having the best day ever.
Why all y'all didn't come? The people who in here sit down watching TV, why y'all ain't come too? I know y'all did fun.
After the fun and festivities of this year's festival, attendees say they eagerly await Punk Cracking 2025. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Cleopatra Murphy.
And now it's time to ask GBPC.
How does Grand Bahama Power Company prepare for a hurricane?
That's a frequently asked question. So GBPC prepares for storm season beginning from the month of January to May, which is pre-storm season. This is the time that we take to review our playbooks and our procedures. These help us to determine what it is we should do and when we should do it. During the month of May, post into storm season, we then begin to monitor the weather forecast. This keeps us on our toes. We continue to watch the weather forecast and have frequent Charter Committee monthly meetings. This helps us to stay on task and also assess as conditions change. In the event we do incur a storm, we then conduct a lessons learned. Lessons learned help us to restore more safely and even quickly in the future.
And that's a look at stories making news. Jay, tell us what's coming up in sports.
I wish it was a holiday today. And coming up in sports, the Grand Bahama Amateur Softball playoffs begin tomorrow at the Grand Bahama Sports Complex.
All right, sports is up next, but first, here's a look at tonight's weather forecast.
Tonight's weather forecast is brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
'Cause it's so beautiful.
The Forever Flower Shop. Check out our new selection of artificial flowers and wreaths. Choose stems for your own projects or get a pre-made arrangement as a quick fix to a dull space. If you're a soon-to-be bride, inquire about bulk ordering for floral options that won't break the bank. It's all here at Island Bedding and Furniture, located at number 5 Queens Highway, across from Caribbean Veterinary.
Sometimes you want pizza vibe without the whole dang pie. Now, there's a new way to get the bold flavors of pizza whenever and wherever you want. You just got to try Pizza Hut's new melt in buffalo chicken, meat lovers, pepperoni lovers, and chicken bacon wrap for just $6.99 with VAT. Pizza Hut's new melts are cheesy, crispy, and loaded. Call us at 352-9191 to satisfy your pizza vibe cravings.
Hi, I want to put some shoes on your feet.
Hi, I want to put some shoes on your feet.
I still want to put shoes on your feet.
I want to put some shoes on your feet.
And I still want to put shoes on your feet.
We still want to put shoes on your feet.
2 locations to put shoes on your feet. Downtown Freeport, and now our newest location in the Carmichael City Shopping Plaza, right behind the Walk-Up Wendy's, Carmichael Road West.
Journey to a serene oasis. Relax. Rejuvenate. Welcome to Renew Day Spa. For appointments, call 352-RENU.
Hey, what are you doing?
I'm self-insuring my investments, starting with this tarp.
We all remember the blue tarps after the storm. Let's make sure that we are covered with more than a tarp. Don't allow your investment to be at risk. Protect your investment with one of our insurance policies.
Nobody does it better.
Have you been waiting for windows? Then wait no more. Cornet Bahamas have in stock now PVC sliding windows, casement windows, and impact sliding windows with mirror tinted glass, all in different sizes and styles. Call us at 352-1301 or visit any of our 4 locations in Freeport, Nassau, Abaco, and Eleuthera for the great products and great prices. Open 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Saturdays. Cornet Bahamas, dream, design, deliver.
Calling all beauty connoisseurs of the Bahamas, aka beauty professionals from the east to the west, north, and the south. It's time to shift and pivot. The Beauty of Business, hosted by yours truly, Cutel DeVoe, that's me, bringing to you some of the best minds in the field of business to help you maximize your full potential. All the tea you need in the areas of branding and marketing by Corel Pinder, digital strategy by Carissa Stubbs, customer service and communication by Deborah Pack, and that money management that you need to secure that bag. All you need, Aileen Newton, in one place, served on a silver platter. So head on over to Eventbrite and plug in Shift and Pivot to secure your seat, or call 439-3044 for more information on how you can shift and pivot.
Good evening, ladies and gents. I'm Jay Philippe, and welcome to Sports. In high school volleyball, LIS won the Senior Girls Tip-Off Classic, while St. George's won the boys' title. The preseason jamboree was named after Ivan Butler, who served as a high school coach on Grand Bahama and most recently, District Superintendent of Education. Butler sharing on why it was important to have the preseason tournament.
We wanted our coaches to improve their level of coaching. We wanted to see improvement in the level of play from their players, and thus far it's been very, very competitive. As a result of partnering with the Grand Bahama Volleyball Association, they've played an intricate role in developing our young athletes. Most of the kids that played last year were pretty much practicing volleyball all summer or going to volleyball clinics throughout the year. And so this year we are very, very pleased with the competitiveness of the student athletes. And we just want parents now to come out and support their children. We want the schools to come out and support their students and make it just a wonderful experience.
Sticking with volleyball, this time from Abaco with high school standings after 3 weeks of regular season play. In junior girls player, Gappy sits on top with a 4-0 record, followed by Patrick J. Bethel with a 2-2 record. In junior boys action, the Eagles again has a perfect 4-0 record, while Patrick J. Bethel has a 2-2 record. In senior girls, Agape again leading with a 4-0 win-loss record. Forest Heights right behind with a 2-2 record. And in senior boys action, Agape remains undefeated with a perfect 4-0 record. Switching gears now in sports, softball playoffs begin on Wednesday at the Sports Complex Softball Park. Pat Uniform will take on Keys Bahamas at 6 p.m. in ladies play. At 7 p.m., Ira boys will go up against Pat Uniform Reds in all men's play. In co-ed action, Cooper's Destroyers will face Chad Golden Knights at 8 p.m. and the feature game will be between CLA Hitters and Steve Fantasy in all men's. And finally in sports, Jonquil Jones and the New York Liberty have even the WNBA Finals at 1 game apiece with an 80-66 win over Minnesota Lynx in Game 2. Jonquil Jones finished the game with 14 points and 9 rebounds on 6 of 13 from the field. And that's your quick check on sports. Your Facebook friend of the day is next. Be blessed.
All need to save. Save time, gas, and money. Shopping at Save More can help you do just that. Make us your first stop for all your prescription needs and medical supplies. Get all your health and beauty items at the same time. And don't miss our huge choice of snacks to satisfy your cravings. And the largest vitamin selection and over-the-counter relief products. Need diapers and other baby care items? First stop. The new section for makeovers, cosmetics, and beautiful jewelry will make you sparkle for that next special event. Save More Drugs, your more store.
Guess what? Budget Pest Control has something important to show you. Coq de Termites former Salmus, the super termite. What makes them super? Their ferocious appetite can attack your home from below and above. They even attack forestry. But don't worry. Budget Pest Control has extensively studied this species on Grand Bahama. You can even check out our scientific paper. So you can count on us to protect your investment. Call Budget Pest Control, the termite specialist.
Hi, my name is Janelle Mizik, the communications specialist here at the Grand Bahama Power Company, coming to you with an energy efficiency tip on lighting from GBPC's Smart Home. Did you know that incandescent light bulbs emit light as a result of being heated? They consume a lot of energy and use about 90% of it to produce heat. An efficient replacement is an LED light bulb that can save you about 80% and last about 25 times longer. Additionally, incandescent light bulbs can increase the heat in your home and contribute to you having a higher cooling bill. To learn more about how the appliances in your home affect your power bill, visit us at the Smart Home in the Region Center or follow us on Facebook.
Jade Champagne and The Rhythm presents 102.7 The Rhythm turns 3, and it's a big performance with Taurus Riley live. Taurus Riley live. Oh yeah, the hitmaker, the reggae icon, Taurus Riley live. Saturday, December 14th.
This news is brought to you by the new BTC. Fiber is here. Faster, stronger, more reliable. Together, we are unstoppable. Switch today.
Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, the government signs off on a significant capital investment through a prestigious hotel brand. Hundreds of millions of dollars and hundreds of jobs locked in now that a deal's sealed. Also, is your workplace AI ready? Hear about the benefits of bridging the gap as one body looks to innovation and modernization to drive efficiency. And veteran journalists, police officers, teachers, and decorated athletes among the country's latest group of national heroes. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report starts now. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the broadcast. Immediate relief, the very two words Bahamas Power and Light consumers have been longing to hear, and a promise the Davis administration made today as they power up 2 new dual-fuel engines to bring about greater energy efficiency. Our Devontae Hanna takes the story from here.
Tonight, a new era in energy promising lower electricity bills.
We are addressing the immediate need for reliable power, but this is just the beginning.
As the Davis administration cut the ribbons on 2 new dual-fuel turbine engines purchased through a public-private partnership with Bahamas Power and Light Company and Bahamas Utilities Holdings Limited.
These engines, designed to run on both diesel and liquefied natural gas, are not just a quick fix. They are a forward-looking solution that will deliver immediate relief and set the foundation for a more sustainable energy future.
Now at present, New Providence receives about 256 megawatts from this property and its power generation. But with the addition of these 2 new generators, they'll receive an additional 65 megawatts.
The engines allow for dual fuel technology, which will enhance operational flexibility. However, by June 2025, the engines will run fully on LNG.
That's Energy Minister the Honorable Jobeth Colby Davis, who claimed the 2 new engines will provide immediate relief for consumers. This, as the Prime Minister revealed, government is now in its final stages of negotiations for going solar.
This is but the 62 megs that's now being commissioned today. It's a part of 177 megs that we are going to see happen very soon. In the next month, we should be seeing those contracts being concluded and work beginning on ensuring that we have at least solar to the mix.
Teams have reportedly been working on the installation for the past few months, and today, both engines will turn on for the first time. With the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Devontae Hanna.
And the positive vibe spills over in the tourism industry, where global excellence and local expertise team up to create another multi-million-dollar project. If all goes as planned, the region's largest 4 seasons resort will soon call the Bahamas home. The government sealing the deal with officials of the globally recognized resort brand this morning as developers propel this particular project as the new standard in luxury.
Altavis Munnings has the story.
This project is not only a vote of confidence, but a commitment to our nation's future.
For Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis, cementing this $275 million project underscores global trust for the Bahamas as a premier destination for luxury tourism and business. The new luxury 75-unit condo hotel will be housed on Paradise Island under the management of the prestigious Four Seasons brand, complementing the high-end Ocean Club property. The Davis administration giving its nod to the 448 Bahamians being employed just in the construction phase and more than 200 permanent jobs created once completed.
These are not just numbers. These are families, individuals, and communities who will see their lives transformed by the opportunities generated by this investment. But the benefits extend beyond direct employment. The economic impact of this project will ripple throughout the economy, with local suppliers expected to see an infusion of at least $172 million in spending during the construction phase.
Developers from Two Roads Development and Access Industries will spearhead the project, which is scheduled for groundbreaking by the end of the year.
It will have an immediate economic impact of over $300 million, and over the next 20 years will have an economic impact of over $750 million.
Visitors to the Four Seasons will not only enjoy the natural beauty of our islands, but also experience the best in Bahamian hospitality, showcasing the warmth and professionalism which we are known worldwide.
For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Altavis Munnings.
Meanwhile, while some oppose the advancement of artificial intelligence, others not only welcome it, but are actively advocating for its expansion. Among those behind that push, the Bahamas Bureau of Standards and Quality. Our Danielle Dean tells us more.
So we are glad to have you all joining us today under the theme of Achieving Industry, Innovation, and Infrastructure through Artificial Intelligence.
If you're in fishing, technology, or even the healthcare industry, you should consider increasing the presence of artificial intelligence. And the reasoning is quite simple: for optimal results. At least that's the message the Bahamas Bureau of Standards and Quality is pitching on this World Standards Day. But what about the overriding concern of AI adversely impacting the local employment rate, threatening the necessity of some jobs? Here's Duran Humes, CEO of Bahamian software consulting firm, with a response. When asked, Duran Humes, CEO of Bahamian software consulting firm, Plato Alpha, responded like this.
You don't necessarily have to be scared, because a lot of jobs will be taken over by artificial intelligence, but maybe not in your lifetime. So it may be 20, 30, 40, 50 years before artificial intelligence takes your jobs, but it will ultimately.
Humes even referenced the recent longshoremen's port strike in the U.S., stating that for this reason, the strike only made things worse for those involved.
All that essentially did was accelerated the timeline of the port owners to say, hey, we're going to automate you guys out of a job, right? If they didn't strike, they may have bought themselves maybe another 5-10 years.
Onassis Nottage, co-founder and managing director of Results Lab, an AI and data consulting firm, addressed AI from a legal perspective, cautioning that there are stipulations in place to promote trustworthy artificial intelligence.
I think it was about a year ago, the EU released the Artificial Intelligence Act that pretty much categorized AI based off of levels of risk.
Based on one of the transparency obligations implemented by the European Union, providers of AI systems, including general-purpose AI systems generating synthetic audio, image, video, or text content, shall ensure that the outputs of the AI system are marked in a machine-readable format or detectable as artificially generated or manipulated. Humes added, though, that AI's growing popularity does not mean workers should just sit by, but use the opportunity to reskill, find a new industry, or learn to use AI for their benefit. Reporting for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Danielle Dean.
Well, contrary to popular belief that the Lyndon Pinley International Airport has outgrown its current facilities, Aviation Director Dr. Kenneth Romer insists that's not true. He was talking to a Rotary meeting this afternoon when the issue was once again brought up. However, Dr. Romer says what is needed at the nation's main gateway is more flexible scheduling and better management of high traffic periods.
A lot of our concerns as related to the perception of LPIA growing its existing facilities has to do with how we manage the peak arrival times and the departure times of our airlines. So it takes an innovation. It takes us down to attract airlines arriving aside of the peak time. How do we spread out the arrivals and departure times working of course in tandem with our hotel properties, with our airlines to ensure that we have this bottleneck approach between the peak arrival time, which is good again for business and for commerce.
And speaking of aviation, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Aviation, the Honourable Chester Cooper, will next week take the lead in negotiating and signing air services agreements with 20 countries to enhance connectivity and boost tourism. All in all, the agreements are expected to lead to increased travel, promote economic growth, and attract added international visitors. This, of course, auguring well for the Bahamas as it looks to solidify its status as a leading travel destination. Now, in addition to the negotiations, there will also be discussions on best practices in aviation, sustainability, and the future of air travel. The venue, the 16th ICAO Air Services Negotiation, or ICANN 2024, hosted by Malaysia's Ministry of Transport, October 21st through the 25th. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. There's more news in a moment.
In the chaos of our daily lives, it's easy to be caught up in the rush. But when you're behind the wheel, remember, rushing can lead to disaster. Don't rush. Take your time. Remember, your life and others depends on it. Slow down. Stay alert and arrive alive. Because in the race of life, it's not about how fast you get there, but how safely.
This message is brought to you by Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
KFC is giving you more to love with our KFC Bucket Meals with large size. Get the KFC Family Bucket featuring 8 pieces of juicy chicken, family fries, and 4 biscuits that feeds 4. A KFC Deluxe Bucket with 10 pieces of delicious chicken, 2 larger sides, and 4 biscuits that feeds 4 to 6. Or a KFC Party Bucket with 15 pieces of our chicken, 3 larger sides, and 6 biscuits that feeds 6. And we'll handle the dishes, plates, and utensils included, so you can lick your fingers and reach. KFC knows value, and it's finger licking good.
Whether you're crossing borders or navigating busy airports, with BTC's reliable data roaming, you're always in touch. In a fast-paced world, staying connected is key. Don't miss important moments. Stay connected effortlessly with BTC, wherever your journey takes you.
Legacy of Leadership. Join the International Third World Leadership Association for Legacy Weekend, November 8th to the 9th. November 8th, Legacy Leadership Lecture, honoring global leader. November 9th, Legacy Walk to Remember. Join us for the Legacy Reunion Concert.
Hey guys, it's Yolanda Adams. It's about to be a celebration, November 8th through the 10th at the Miles E. Monroe Diplomat Center. I can't wait to see you. Come on.
Visit itwla.com for details. Don't miss Legacy Weekend.
People are going crazy for Popeyes around the world. Some have camped out for hours just to try our delicious chicken. This guy stocked up on 300 crunchy, juicy chicken sandwiches, just in case. And these lovebirds celebrated their wedding with the Popeyes cake. For real. We get it, y'all chicken lovers. Because we're just as crazy to marinate our chicken for 12 hours and make every piece by hand. That crazy love, we love.
Love that chicken from Popeyes.
The news is brought to you by Bahamas Striping Group of Companies.
You're looking at an overcast yet serene view of Nassau Harbor. Welcome back. The evening session of this year's National Honors Investiture and Conferment Ceremony saw nearly 200 Bahamians receive honors. A proud moment for the honorees and their families. And as Corval Pyfrom tells us, it is hoped these honors inspire future generations of Bahamians.
In honoring this latest group of Bahamians being bestowed national honors, Foreign Affairs Minister Fred Mitchell, who also chairs the National Advisory Council on National Honors, reflected on the journey that brought us here. From the abolition of slavery, majority rule, uplifting our African heritage, and national independence.
Fortunately, again, there were men and women who saw the vision and the need to pass on their examples to the next generation. 7 of them have now been declared national heroes of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, a country that is only 51 years old today.
Men and women, some no longer with us, representing a wide range of areas, receive the nation's highest honors. Prime Minister Philip Davis says these men and women are owed a huge debt.
Today's honorees have elevated virtually every area of our society: education, healthcare, the arts, public service, and beyond. They have all played vital roles in uplifting our nation, and for that, you have our everlasting gratitude.
Veteran photojournalist Eric Smith, Assistant Commissioner of Police Warren Johnson, and Olympian Devin Charlton were among this year's honorees.
Well, all I did was for my country, and I will continue to do it for my country, no matter what.
When you start off in life, you don't really know where your journey will take you. But to serve one's country in this manner has been the single greatest honor for me.
It feels amazing to be recognized against some of the greatest Bahamians, and just to receive this honor, it feels good just to be recognized for accomplishments. It's a good feeling.
On this National Heroes Day 2024, roughly 400 Bahamians had honors bestowed upon them. Expect that figure to remain in that ballpark at least for the next few years or so, because as Minister Mitchell puts it, when it comes to honoring Bahamians who've made significant contributions to national development in this country, well, we still have a lot of catching up to do. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Corvell Pyfrom.
Well, of course, we extend congratulations to all the honorees. On a more somber note, any idea how many attempts there were to commit suicide last year? Well, we've been told 50 plus. In fact, consultant psychiatrist Dr. John Dillette recalls treating clients with suicidal thoughts, calling it a tragedy whenever someone feels so despondent they wish to end their own lives.
I've had clients, unfortunately, who have committed suicide. So sometimes it's as a result of trauma. There are many persons who have very, very difficult childhoods or who have undergone very traumatic circumstances, rape, molestation, life-changing circumstances like divorce or financial ruin. And they feel hopeless, they feel helpless, they feel like their life will never change.
Dillette lists steps people can take to sharpen their mental health.
I've always found that persons who read and read broadly tend to be a little bit happier and more able to connect with others on different levels. Games are good, but games that help to test your intellect and your knowledge base and expand your horizons are things that also can give lots of joy and fulfillment as well. But interaction with others in small groups, being able to converse about politics, religion, whatever the issues are of the day, in a space where you're not being judged, you're not going to be made fun of, you can express yourself, but you can learn.
Oh, the popular ZNS radio talk show, Men's Talk, hosted by Sean Innes, taking a proactive approach in seeking answers on the life of men. The show aired live from Executive Grooming Barbershop on Shirley Street, where some of today's male mentors used the opportunity to shed positive insight on the role men play in our society. Proprietor Anton Minnis acknowledged that men are usually comfortable expressing themselves in the barbershop.
We find today that a lot of men are not equipped emotionally, not equipped academically to actually deal with something of that nature. We tend to refer things like that instead of understanding that this young man just asking for a dad. He's asking for somebody that can understand him and understand that a hug does not carry an eros connotation to it, that you have to have that septuagenarian love just for the young man alone.
And here's more from Dr. Marvin Smith.
Having consistent fathers and grandfathers and uncles who bring a positive influence, all right, into their lives, creates sometimes this cascade of pitfalls and obstacles and hurdles. And for some men, they just go, okay, well, I ain't dealing with that no more. I just gonna do what I got to do. And for other men, it breaks them, and you end up with the issues of mental health challenges, depression, and even suicide.
Stay with us on The Beat is after the break.
This portion of the news is brought to you by folk called Smart Pass, the smart way to pay at the pump.
Decade ago, the Bahama Striping Group of companies was birthed out of a passion to change the way we travel. From only a $5,000 grant, the tenacity and work ethic has propelled BSGC to one of the leading road management companies in the Caribbean. We pride ourselves on going the extra mile where others won't, through the use of our state-of-the-art equipment and our certified team. Although the success is commendable, the road has been long. Yet, the mission continues in striving to be a world-class organization ran by Bahamians for Bahamians. With the help of our experienced and hardworking team, we at the Bahamas Striping Group of companies are committed to making a difference, one road at a time.
Introducing the Focal Smart Pass app that helps you to fuel up faster. Here's how it works. Download the app on the App Store or get it on Google Play and create your profile with payment details. Visit your nearest Shell station. Open the app, scan the pump's QR code, select your payment amount, and begin fueling. Say goodbye to cash and cards because the Focal Smart Pass offers secure and convenient payment options right at your fingertips. Download Focal Smart Pass now and fuel up faster today.
On the Business Beat tonight, we look at the rights of consumer and the agency tasked with ensuring those rights are protected. Here's Corville Pyfrom.
Senator Randy Roll is coming up on the 2-month mark in his role as the executive chairman of the Consumer Protection Commission, and he and his team are on a mission.
The work of the Commission is to deal with goods and services to make sure that we protect consumers as it relates to services.
The agency has seen an uptick, Roll says, in the number of complaints it receives from consumers. Already more than 300 for the year. Here are the services ranked by number of complaints according to Roll.
In our research, we realized that courier services was ranked number 1, followed by construction services, and then there was hardware stores, and again, utility companies.
He wants consumers to know not only that they have rights, but that there is a process for them to seek recourse.
We believe that once they have knowledge of what their rights are, and of course an avenue in which they can complain, then we will see an increase in the numbers of complaints.
The Commission is planning an education campaign and widespread media blitz to help raise the public's awareness about consumer advocacy. Senator Roll believes through the Commission's work, we'll begin to see a paradigm shift in the way business is done.
So you're going to see a lot of campaigning, a lot of public relations stuff from our standpoint, so that consumers know it, a lot of training and education. And so we have a team that's going to go on the streets, that's going to go on social media and talk about what is your rights as a consumer.
Senator Roll stresses that he, neither his team here at the Consumer Protection Commission, are out to punish anybody. They just want to ensure that consumers and businesses live up to their end of the bargain in the delivery, purchase, and sales of goods and services. On the Business Beat, I'm Corville Pyfrom.
Well, it's about that time that we switch on over to the lighter side of our newscast, and for that we turn to LaDawn and Marcellus We're standing by to give us a sneak peek of Access Now. Guys?
Because let me tell you, the Red Cross Ball is returning to Grand Bahama after, get this, 17 years. Did you know that, Marcellus? 17
I had
long
no idea.
years.
17 years, huh? Okay.
Isn't that a long
Well, at least
time?
we know there won't be a year 18.
Oh.
So you're on the right track.
So stay with us. Our feature story is up next.
Is the Little Caesars Stuffed Crust Pizza. Get more pizza for less money. Only $12. It's a whole new level of pizza with cheese stuffed crust so spectacular that there's nothing left.
Pizza.
A delicious pepperoni pizza with the crust stuffed with lots of cheese and brushed with butter and garlic flavor and sprinkled with Parmesan cheese. Hot and ready Thursday to Saturday between 4 and 8 for only $12. Simply irresistible. And only at Little Caesars.
Pizza.
We here at Candid Security offer a varied range of security services, including guard service. We do armored service. We do pre-employment investigation, background checks, also vet people for employment. A live business hosted PBX is extremely important to our operation. I don't have to be in my office. I can easily get connected with our clients, my vendors, my NASA office, and with our employees in the field, anytime, anywhere.
JBI, lemon and lime.
One of the best products you can find anywhere. This is one of my favorites, and I have lots of favorites at JBI.
This is very rich. I put this in everything, whether I'm baking, whether I'm doing peas and rice, coconut and rice, or you're doing some curry and you want your cream to be in your curry, you could do everything with that.
Oh, I love this with my nice lime. It goes with my tuna salad. When I put that lime and that great food, spicy food I love. So try JBI, lemon and lime.
Try JBI. Happy anniversary to JBI.
JBI to the world.
Thank you, Bahama.
St. James Anglican Church hosting its sizzling annual King of the Grill competition on National Heroes Day in honor of Father Anthony Roberts. As West Calix Forbes tells us, the church grounds were transformed into a culinary battlefield.
With the smoky barbecue aroma filling the air, the excitement was visible as participants fired up their grills, each hoping to claim the Covenant title.
We take part in the grill out, and it's a positive thing, it's a fun thing. And we always take home a prize. Last year we got second overall in best rib. This year we intend to sweep. No disrespect to my St. James brothers here. We always be here to face going off, right? So we more or less like friendly. Yeah, don't matter who win. But this year you can either stay home or going down to Virginia Street.
I just pop in to clarify some things. You know, I heard a lot of second and third places being floating around there. So I just had to stop in as the reigning champion, the Parish Church of St. Gregory the Great, to let you know that we are back again this year. This year we are coming to repeat, this time by a larger margin than before. Praise the Lord.
The diverse food offering showcased the creativity and talent of the competitors who brought their A-game to the grill. But the competition and the aim behind it was just as impactful.
There came from Father Anthony Roberts, who was the assistant priest here. He always wanted a competition between the various men of the Anglican churches. He passed away without it ever being. So the men of St. James took it on and to make it a reality. And this is our 19th year.
And when it came to who they thought would have won and who actually won,
I'm hoping the Little Church of St. James in Adelaide could take home the prize because the people of Adelaide, they're just so beautiful. We love that people come out, support. It's like a block party out here.
Well, you know, I'm always pulling for St. James. And you know, when I go to the other churches and I ask them if they're going to put a team in this year, I always tell them, I say, look here, St. James needs someone to beat up on.
Congratulations to St. Christopher's. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Wes Calix Forbes.
Oh, great story there, Wes. That does it, though, for the National Report, but stay close. The Bahamas Tonight continues with Access Now.
Good to grow, keeping you in the know, keeping you in the know. God, it's good enough to eat, then it's good to grow. It's good enough to eat, then it's good to grow.
The Anchor Awards, an award show aimed at honoring the brave fishers of the Bahamas, is reeling in soon. And we at the Ministry of Agriculture and Marine Resources want to ensure that you're there to join in on the fun.
So you can go to the ministry's page, the Bahamas Ministry of Agriculture and Marine Resources. You can type that in. At the top of the page, you will see an active link, and that is Ticketflare/Anchor Awards. Go there, and you can purchase your tickets, and the QR code will come straight to your email address. It is a completely digital process, and it's very easy.
The night's expected to be a spectacular display of appreciation for the men and women who brave the seas and bring home a catch that feeds our families. And the ministry's public relations manager and Anchor Awards chairperson, Kindia Smith, tells us what we can expect.
It's going to be epic. I intend to have a great time, and I know everybody else will too. We have live performances, we have great hosts, lots of food, lots of drink after, but all for the cost of $60 at Bahama. You can't beat it. It is a completely wonderful event that we've been spending a whole lot of time in planning, and we can't wait to show everyone what we've done. And I'm sure the fishers of Bahamas will be proud, because we really want to make sure that they know that they are legends in their own right. And this event itself is going to be legendary.
Chair of the Anchor Awards Blue Ribbon Panel, the group tasked with selecting the winners, Paul Malis, encourages all Bahamians to come out and support.
Well, it's a unique experience, right? There's never really been an event like this, quite like this, and it's going to be exceptional. We're going to have an amazing ambience and feel for it. You're going to get to see people speak that you've never really heard from. Fishermen are some of the busiest and least accessible people in the whole economy and in our daily lives. They're not the people you see every week, because they're mostly out to sea, or they're toiling away. They don't get public holidays. They don't get vacations, because fishing is the type of business that demands your time 24/7. But then you're going to get food, you're going to get entertainment, and you're going to get to see videos, wonderful videos showing the life of fishermen, how the industry works here in the country. I just think it's going to be very cool, and it won't be something you will forget easily.
Keeping you in the know with Good to Grow, I'm Leah Cooper.
The ribbon has been cut and beverages poured as Great Cliff Cigar Company opens a moonshine store. You heard it first on Access Now.
Plus, Bahamas Striping Group of Companies once again appeals to corporate and the public to partner with its Feeding the Needy. Details straight ahead.
And the Grand Bahama Red Cross Ball is back, baby. Lisa Turnquest coming live from Grand Bahama with details.
And coming up in sports, the thrill of dragon boat racing.
Tonight, Access Now starts now.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Marcellus Hall.
And I'm LaDawn Davis. Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, Access Now.
The dragon boat racing, are you ready for that, LaDawn? We need a team here at ZNS. You game for that?
I don't know about that, Marcellus. Definitely don't know about that.
Enough said. Let's dive right into the news, shall we? Well, the historic Great Cliff property will house a new product starting today. The Moonshine Store will be open to the public. Our Matea Cunningham was there at the ribbon cutting and filed this report.
Today marks the ribbon cutting of the World of Great Cliff's newest store, the Bahamian Moonshine Company, offering locals and tourists an array of liquors such as gins, rums, and corn liquors.
Yesterday was our first day open, and funny enough, it was actually our best sales of all of our outlets all over the island at all the different stores. So we've got some pretty ambitious goals. We've been talking about a lot of stuff and a lot of distilling and a lot of moonshine.
We talked to Master Distiller Big Nick to find out how he hopes Bahamians will respond to this new venture.
Well, I'm hoping they're going to love it. I'm definitely a rum drinker, but I also like corn liquor as well. And, to me, bringing that product to somewhere that's not, even if they've had corn liquor, it's not readily available like we're bringing here at Great Cliff. So I'm hoping it's a good experience for everybody.
Moonshine, a word that's about to become a regular in Bahamian vocabulary. For Access Now, I'm Matea Cunningham.
No one should go hungry, especially during the holidays. Bahama's Striping Group of Companies seeks assistance for a Thanksgiving initiative to feed people throughout this country. The project aims to ensure that families in need can celebrate the holiday with a hearty Thanksgiving meal.
Where this year our company has an ambitious goal, which is to feed 15,000 persons throughout the archipelago of the Bahamas. We look forward to receiving menu items: ham, the turkey, bales of rice, seasonings, all of these items. If you can only do one ham and one turkey, please reach out to us. You can get us a gift certificate from the various companies, food stores, and just drop it off to our head office, and we will definitely make it work.
The organization plans to partner with local food banks, community centers, food stores, schools, and the mailboat to facilitate the distribution of all the meals in a timely and professional manner, but most importantly, the public's assistance in any way they can to make this initiative a success.
As we want to also not only assist them with that venture, but we are opening up avenues for young students to go ahead and see what it is like to do community service, as we have the ambitious goal to feed 1,000 out of the 15,000.
We're reaching out to the mailboat companies as well, if they can assist us with donating their services, so that we're able to transfer these much needed menu items to the various family islands cost-free. So please, as well as the trucking companies for distribution as well.
Well, still to come, we have Lisa Turnquest of the Grand Bahama Red Cross Ball Committee. She'll be joining us on Zoom. Stay close for that.
Hey, are you looking to save for a big purchase or occasion? Well, let me introduce myself. My name is Bond, the Bahamas Government Savings Bond, and I am guaranteed to earn interest on your money with terms ranging from 1 to 6 years. Government savings bonds are safe, and for as little as $100, you can start to save for your future. My name is Bond, the Bahamas Government Savings Bond, and I'm available to any Bahamian, guaranteed. Go to the Central Bank website and search savings bonds for more details.
Bahamas, are you ready? Keep the vibe alive. Music group, along with Alpha Sounds, present the best of the best. Raking Scrape Explosion Reloaded. This is the biggest one-day all-Bahamian concert of the year. Featuring KB, D-Mac, Abby, Mama D, Fan Sean, Shine 242, The Falcon, and more. Mark your calendars. It's going down November the 2nd at Super Club Races Ground. Tickets now available at BahamasEtickets.com or both Beauty Shack locations. General admission $60. VIP, Skybox, and Skypods also available. For more info, call 394-0819 or email keepthevibealive242@gmail.com. Experience the magic once again with more legends for one night only. Come party with us November 2nd at Best of the Best. Raking Scrape Explosion Reloaded.
Hi, I'm Brent Burrows, Vice President of Retail and Sales at CBS Bahamas and the CBS Pro Store. Not only do we guarantee the best prices on all your favorite building materials, but we're proud to offer the best delivery program in all of Nassau. Whether you buy one box of screws or a truckload of plywood, island-wide delivery is just $5. And for our Family Island customers, we're proud to offer complimentary drop-off to the mailboat of your choice. Visit us today at the CBS Pro Store on Robinson Road and check out our website to set up your next delivery.
you are looking at a beautiful shot of the sunset over Paradise Island Bridge. Shot is by our drone pilot, Neville Smith. Good job, Neville, as always. Let's see now what's happening in sunny Eleuthera.
Family Island News is brought to you by Commonwealth Brewery Limited.
Well, the Water and Sewage Department has been given the Central Eleuthera area a major gift, a $1 million Imperial gallon glass lined steel infused tank. It was officially complete and put into service recently. Good news for Eleuthera there.
Evening, we have a sit-down with the chair of the Grand Bahama Red Cross Committee, Ms. Lisa Turnquest. Now, what we can tell you is something special about the ball is that it's back after a 17-year hiatus. The ball is back with a bang. Lisa, welcome to the Bahamas Tonight. Access now.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Awesome. So the ball is back, but why the 17-year hiatus? Why was it stopped?
Well, there's no secret that Grand Bahama has faced its own share of hardships, starting all the way back from Jean and Francis and the multiple hurricanes in between, and then Dorian, COVID, and just, you know, a not so vibrant economy did not allow for an event such as this to take place that relies heavily on the support of corporate Grand Bahama, who were just, at the time, unable to do so because they're trying to keep their doors open and keep people employed.
Now, I heard through the grapevine that this ball is going to be quite spectacular. Tell us about the theme and what you are putting into planning to make it worth the 17-year wait.
Well, we certainly believe so, and that is myself and my very vibrant and creative committee. What we made the decision to do was just change the whole ball, the concept of a ball. We came up with the theme, the Renaissance ball, because in French, Renaissance means rebirth. So we want to rebirth the whole idea of a ball. And then we had to come up with an actual theme for the ball, and it's resilient, renewed, and recharged, because that's what we believe about the people of Grand Bahama. We are resilient, we are renewed, and we are recharged. Every time hardships hit, we seem to come back. And this ball is coming back no different. It is coming back with an entirely new flavor, lots of surprises, lots of special treats for our guests.
And tell us a little bit more about your committee and what patrons can expect as far as entertainment is concerned.
Okay, so my committee is an elaborate array of personalities. Actually, I'm just at the Red Cross now. We're doing our final meetings, and they're still planning. But we really put together a fun team, and fun people bring the fun. And so we bought the Grand Bahama District Pop Band. They're going to be playing all night. We have Money Like Dirt, who's going to be our DJ. And then, even though KB has been here 2 weekends back to back, we don't care. We're going to have KB as our live entertainment for the night. I think the unique thing about our ball is we made the decision that there will be no speeches. There will be no raffle prizes, nothing that's going to happen at that ball that's going to get in the way of your dancing and your fun. And you're just coming back and enjoying what this event intends to bring. We know that, however, this one night cannot underscore the work of the Bahamas Red Cross. The Bahamas Red Cross is a 24-hour workhorse. It's always going. It's Meals on Wheels program. It's humanitarian efforts, the disaster recovery, the CPR training, the first aid training, the blood drives. This is all work that the Red Cross does every day, all year, and it never stops. For this to happen, they need money. And so these events such as the ball are the major fundraisers that provide them with the funding. And so having an event like this that's caused Grand Bahama, and in particular, corporate Grand Bahama, to come out the way that it has is just completely overwhelming. As a chairperson of this event, I am beyond excited about what Saturday will bring.
And speaking of the night, talk to us about the patrons and when is the ball expected again?
Our Prime Minister has served as our patron. Unfortunately, due to a travel conflict, he will not be in attendance. But we will have lots and lots of fun for him. But he is the patron of our event and has done so quite graciously.
And tell us a little about tickets and where will the ball be?
The ball will be held this Saturday, October 19th, starting at 6 p.m. with a VIP cocktail party for our top-tier sponsors, sponsored by Jade Champagne and Fluid Factory. We will then start the actual event at 8 p.m. We promise you, by 9:30 you will be well into dancing. But if I may, I'd just like to thank our top-level sponsors that came in and literally got this ball rolling. People like RBC, Gerald Investments, Oak Tree Medical Network out of Nassau, GirlCon Bexa Alliance, IL Cares, BTC, Ministry for Grandmama, the Bahamas Ministry of Tourism, Kalina, the Grandmama Shipyard, the Western Atlantic School of Medicine. These are all companies that came up front out of nowhere and just made their contributions to get us up and running. And right now, we are literally sold out.
Lisa, thank you so much for joining us here on the Bahamas Tonight Access Now, and all the best to you and your team as the Red Ball approaches this weekend. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much.
Marcellus Hall has a look at what's coming up in sports. Marcellus?
Coming up in sports for tonight, Olympian Devin Charlton receives a special honor. We'll tell you what that was just ahead in sports.
What are we gonna do? We forgot your daddy's birthday. He's in Eleuthera and we're all the way in Nassau. You got it? Okay. Yes, you're right. Eleuthera for tomorrow? No problem.
I've been shopping JBI Healthy Choice Coconut Milk for years.
And I've been using the JBI jerk seasoning for quite some time now, maybe about 4 years.
And whenever I get my JBI jasmine rice, I love to pair it with the JBI kidney beans. I've been using JBI kidney bean with coconut milk for about 10 years.
I enjoy using the JBI product. I love the green pigeon peas, especially on a Sunday when I have to cook that family meal. I've been using it now for a few years. My family love it, and we all enjoy it.
I normally make my own jerk, but this is the next best thing.
Try JBI.
And I want to wish you a happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary, JBI.
Thank you, Bahamas.
Fuel the difference. Ruby's Ultra Tech in your car. Fill up with Ruby's Ultra Tech. Spend less and go far. Fuel up with Ruby's Ultra Tech. Get the most out every ride. Just watch your car perform with the best fuel inside. Fuel up with confidence in every mile. Get Ruby's Ultra Tech in your tank and drive with a smile. Watch your car perform with the best fuel inside. Fuel the difference with Ruby's Ultra Tech.
The most important thing in life is family, and whenever you need reliable advice, you look to the people you know you can trust. At J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers, we earn our clients' trust every day. Whether it's home, motor, travel, or commercial insurance, we've got you covered. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
JS Johnson Insurance, peace of mind.
The ZNS Total Sports Report is brought to you by the 6th Caribbean Baseball Cup. 6 days of high-level competition, October 23rd to 28th.
Well, welcome to your ZNS Total Sports Check, everybody. I'm Marcellus Hall, starting you off with some track and field news. Devin Charlton on the podium, kind of, sort of. She got a different kind of award this past weekend. Olympian Devin Charlton among the hundreds of Bahamians receiving national honors during the annual investiture and conferment ceremony at Bahama Monday evening. Now, the 28-year-old world record holder is coming off an incredible season, including a 6th-place finish in the 100-meter hurdles at the Paris Olympics. Now, Devin was conferred the Order of Merit member honor at yesterday's ceremony. She spoke to us shortly afterwards about what receiving this honor means to her, her recovery from a broken foot she recently suffered, and the upcoming season.
It means a lot because I just remember being that little girl, like looking up to the Golden Girls back in the early 2000s and just wanting to be just like them and to start to witness that having that same effect on young girls. It's a good feeling. It's humbling, for sure, but a little bit of pressure, but it's a lot of weight on my shoulders, but I'm happy to do that.
And in terms of your season, like how are things? Where are things?
So right now, recovering from an injury I picked up at the end of the season. I broke my foot, but recovery's going well. I'm on the mend, and looking forward to having another strong season next year.
And from the softball beat, the Sam Haven Co-Ed softball tournament taking place yesterday at the Bankers Field. Pretty good action throughout the day, but at the end of the competition, it would be outsiders getting the job done. They took the championship title, defeating BAF Financial. Karan Sands was the men's MVP, with none other than Sophia Cartwright taking the MVP honors on the ladies' side. And that's your check on sports for you here on this beautiful Tuesday. Of course, we have our Tuesday weather forecast just ahead. Stay with us.
The ZNS Total Sports Report is brought to you by the 6 Caribbean Baseball Cup. 6 days of high-level competition, October 23rd to 28th.
We have more than anyone else. We are the most. We are news leaders, and credibility is the order of the day.
Why don't you come to the most? Only the Sun can cover you better than our new digital product, with exclusive stories and entertaining content.
We are the most. Community TV page and radio community announcements. The most viewers and listeners in the country.
We have the most years of Bahama history recorded. There's no archive like ours.
I came back home to bring you even more news and local programming. We're simply the most, the new ZNS.
And I came back home to make sure that you have the most in information, education, entertainment, and inspiration. We're simply the most, the new ZNS, where only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
We're just gonna add some spinach in there, gonna bring out all that flavor.
From quick and easy meals on the go to savory and delicious down-home delights, dishing it up is what we do.
I'm Chef Manny. I'll be the new host of Dishing It Up Season 2, and I'm inviting you to my kitchen here at Manuelo's.
And together, we're cooking up a new season of delicious Bahamian dishes. Welcome back to Dishing It Up.
It's time to grow your church. Time to extend your message to all the islands in the Bahamas, into the Turks and Caicos Islands, and to the world via the ZNS app and website. It's time to broadcast your church's services on ZNS TV. To help you with that, ZNS has some exciting new packages with very good prices. It's time to call 502-3813 for details.
Good morning and welcome. I'm Dr. Gale, and I'm inviting you to be a part of a journey where we open the Word of God to receive strength, to receive empowerment from the Scriptures as they have been written. Get your Bibles, get your cup of coffee or your tea, because this journey is gonna be great. This is your day of victory.
I don't know, but there's all kinds of cars in the parking lot. You ain't even know where to park. Yeah, just don't park in the, look at this way. Like, he ain't get nowhere to go. Don't park him. Just don't park in the handicap spot. Yeah, that's handicap. No, you can't park in the handicap spot. I ain't gonna be that long. I ain't gonna be that long. Handicap spot, right? Hey, what's going on, dog? I tell you we shouldn't park here now. This way park here,
I tell you we shouldn't park here.
Don't get one of these things.
My bad big broke, and he got a sticker inside that say this mud though. We gotta move. This is a handicap spot.
That's what we gotta move.
But we gotta move. We can move right now. Sorry.
Be considerate. Don't use disabled parking spaces without a decal in your vehicle. This message is brought to you by the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities.
abuse, domestic violence, suicidal tendencies. Are you being stressed out from these problems? Call the national hotline at 422-2763 or 322-2763. There are trained social workers available 24 hours to help you. Know that you are not alone in this.
It's time now for your Access weather forecast, and our live weather radar is showing pockets of showers across the northwest and central Bahamas associated with some confluence over the area. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Live Business, where you're always protected during the worst storms. In the northwest and central parts of our country tonight through Wednesday, those winds are going to be light and variable with flat sea conditions. Low tide taking place at 1:01 in the morning. High tide at 7:13 tomorrow morning. Now for the southeast Bahamas through Wednesday, southeasterly winds 10 to 15 knots, the wave heights 2 to 4 feet. And as we take you into Thursday, this is how things are going to be shaping up in the northwestern islands. So winds become northeast. They will be increasing in speeds 15 to 20 knots, wave heights becoming choppy at 4 to 6 feet over the ocean, so caution flags will go in place on Thursday for the northwestern islands. Now your high tide, that will take place at 8:03 in the morning with the low tide at 2:27 in the afternoon. And for the central islands on Thursday, easterly winds 10 to 15 knots, wave heights 2 to 4 feet. And for the southeast Bahamas, winds southeast at 10 to 15 knots, and the wave heights also at 2 to 4 feet. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
I do this for we, I do this for culture. I do this for you, just to show that I love ya. Don't mind anybody else, you got to think for yourself. Some things I could do myself, but right now I really need your help. Just listen attentively, I got some questions to ask ya. Let's go! If I pick up something and wave, follow me, follow me. If I grab someone and wine, follow me, follow me.
And that's going to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But join me at 11 o'clock for a full weather forecast. Marcellus.
All right, thanks, Basil. It certainly looks like more rain in the forecast, LaDawn.
Certainly looks that way, Marcellus, but we got to try to keep dry, you know? You know what I mean? We got to try to keep dry. Matea Cunningham is up next with Let's Talk Socials.
I'm Matea, and this is Let's Talk Dancing. Let's Talk Socials. It's pretty early on in the week, so let's talk about something light that's trending in socials today. On this amazing Tuesday, we're talking about the divas being female versions of the hustlers. Sound familiar? Well, that's because Beyonce's Diva lyrics and Glorilla's TGIF instrumental were mashed up by a DJ on TikTok named Jacob Dior. TikTokers not only went crazy over the melodious mashup, but went full out with the accompanying dance, using Beyonce's original concert choreography for Diva to the modern trap beat. The dances were fierce. Don't believe me? Take a look. Let's face it, TikTok dances can be so hard and complex sometimes. Geesh, what about the folks that aren't professional dancers but want to hop on a trend from time to time? Well, this is your time to shine. This is that trend. As always, I'm Matea, bringing you what's hot, trending, and new in social media news. This has been Let's Talk Socials.
Expecting you to the Diva dance anytime soon?
I'm gonna save that for tomorrow.
All right. Well, that's a wrap up for us, LaDawn.
It sure is. Join us right here tomorrow at 7:30 for more Access Now. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Cousin of mine who was the leader of one of the biggest gangs in this country during the early 90s. The gang that he was a part of tried to recruit all of us. If you're not strong, you can fall prey to that environment. I did not join because I was kept involved in positive activities. I saw what worked, what didn't work, and I just was able to utilize all of the gifts and talents over the years to impact young persons' lives throughout our nation. I realized every single individual has the freedom to choose. But if you choose light, these are the benefits. If you choose darkness, these are the results of your choice. I've seen music bring young persons from gangs through a trumpet, through a clarinet, through a drum, all because of the power of music. Conflict will come, circumstances will come. We just have to be consistent, dedicated, and committed with our young persons. Crime-free looks like me.
Do your part. Join the movement to a safer Bahamas.
The internet is an essential tool for children and adults. It can be used to research school reports, communicate with teachers, and play interactive games. But online access also comes with risks, such as inappropriate content, cyberbullying, and online predators. Here are a few safety tips to help keep you and your children safe. Do not post too much personal information such as home addresses and phone numbers. Keep your privacy settings on and practice safe browsing to ensure children don't go on any inappropriate sites. Be careful about posting pictures or your whereabouts when going on vacation. Always know your child's passwords for email addresses and social media sites. Be sure to have your house computer in a common area where it can be easily monitored. Have conversations with them to make sure they aren't scheduling meetups with new people. Online safety is just as important for children as it is for adults. Not only are children more vulnerable to financial and identity scams, but they are also at risk of encountering inappropriate and potentially disturbing content. I am Police Cadet 80 Jamara Road, reminding you that safety is everybody's business. So let us do our part and continue to create safer communities.
At the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas, I'm Clint Watson, and this is ZNS.
Second Timothy chapter 1 verse 7 states, "For God hath not given us a spirit of fear, but of love and of power and sound mind." But what happens when the sound mind is no more? What recourse do you have? Where can you go for relief? Do you have the power to act if, for instance, a parent is no longer as sharp as they once were? Well, these questions and more will be discussed and answered on this episode of The Legal Brief, where we explore mental health. My co-host is none other than noted attorney Gia Moxie, principal of Moxie Law Chambers. Welcome, Ms. Moxie.
Good evening, and thank you for having me.
Yes, pleasure. Let's get right into it. I'm finding now with the passage of time, I guess as we are getting older, we were once the children, we're now the parents. So I'm finding with our generation, our parents are now declining as age increases, they're now declining in health. And you're finding that they may be forgetting things or even forgetting you from time to time. And that can be scary. And persons wondering, well, what can I do? Because mommy and daddy may still obviously be income earners. They may have property owners and different assets. How do we manage that? How do we navigate if children are not all on one accord? I mean, it can just be so very messy. So I want us to see if we can dissect as much as possible what rights they have available to them, remedies, and where do they have to go. So first, starting off, with respect to any loved one, let's say it's a parent, you see that they're declining mentally. What should you do, Ms. Moxie?
Okay, so under the newer legislation that we've recently passed, the Mental Health Act, the law provides for loved ones, family members, next of kins, caregivers, to approach the court on an application for assistance where there are persons who are suffering from mental illnesses and have lost the mental capacity to take decisions.
Right.
And so what we have is your ability to approach the court under the Supreme Court's jurisdiction to get that assistance that is needed for that parent, that spouse, that child.
And just so the person's know, we're looking at Part 47 of that act, and that would have been in 2022. I think for a lot of people are still thinking of the old Mental Health Act, but listen, that has been repealed. There's a new body of law here, an act, and we'll discuss that later on, but I find that it's very good.
Yes,
I like the form of it. It's really good. Drafting was really good here. But looking at Section 47, you're saying you find yourself in this position, you can get assistance from the Supreme Court.
That is correct. And so what you would do as that caregiver, that parent or that spouse or that child, you would take your loved one to a medical physician for them to be examined. And so we will have you attending either a psychiatrist or an independent medical practitioner, someone who specializes in the field of mental illnesses and mental health. And that person would be examined, and a report would be generated by that psychiatrist or that mental practitioner.
So you really get a prognosis. So you'll know exactly what's happening to mommy or daddy.
That is correct. The report should be very, very thorough insofar as what the background of that person, that patient, the illnesses or the history of illnesses that have plagued them. Also the background of the family members of that person, for the report to be considered thorough. And it would give, once the report is generated, the court an idea as to what has been happening with that patient over time.
Yes, and that's all very, very important because, again, don't panic. I think that's what you say to people. Don't panic. It can be scary because obviously your parent has been in your life forever. I mean, that's all. Sometimes, you rely on them and then you see them, they're not as strong as they used to be. Like, what am I going to do? Well, don't panic. Like you say, you go off, take the physician. I find as well, if your parent already has a physician, you're able to call them up and say, this is happening. Can you look mommy or daddy over? And they may have recommendations who you can go to in that instance. And so once you've gotten that prognosis, and let's say it indicates that it's either early onset or it's fully there, or the dementia or whatever's affecting the decline, the cognitive decline, what next ought you to do? I would say approach an attorney, but what should you be looking to get?
Okay, so once you have that report, those reports of those independent medical practitioners.
And how many?
You would need one from the medical practitioner, the other one from an actual psychiatrist.
Okay.
And those reports would go to the minister, who will designate a chief medical personnel or chief medical examiner to review those reports and give their or render their opinion based on what is in that report, and the consent for those reports to be used in evidence in submissions by way of affidavit to the Supreme Court when you approach the Supreme Court for that guardianship order.
And that's good because I find with the Public Hospitals Authority, we already have a chief medical examiner. So once you put in that application, you get those reports, you submit them to that chief medical examiner, who would also then review and generate their consent to your application for guardianship, because that's what you're asking, to be in control of the affairs of mommy and daddy completely. And so too, just so that we can canvass this, what are you, let's say parent has a number of children, and they're not on one accord. And we know how messy this gets.
Oh, absolutely.
We know how messy this gets because, and I find that the more that mommy and daddy may have in terms of assets, the apartments and this, or daddy left me in the shop and all of this. But however, usually, sadly, the strain sometimes is just left on that one child who may not be as aggressive as the others. But what do you find how the court approaches it when, let's say, just one child comes before for guardianship?
Well, what the court would make an inquiry into would be the living arrangements of the person who is petitioning the court and the association of that person to the patient. Yes. And so the court would have to take into consideration the patient, the nearest living relatives, thank you, of the patient, the accommodations of the person who is petitioning the court for control, and the relationship of that person to the other or the extended family members.
Yes.
The extended family members are not necessarily excluded. They are what you would call be brought in to the application interested parties. And so it is not to exclude, or the intention is not to exclude anyone in particular who is maybe or a benefit of that patient's assets later on. So what the court would be considering would be the interested parties and their associations to the person who's actually making the application. So they would consider the caregivers, children, spouses, anyone who would, I guess, be or would act
have
in the
connection.
best, yes, and have a connection to the patient that is before the court.
I think because we have to always bear in mind the courts, you know, you come to them and you present like a bird's eye view as to this is the position, this is my mother or my father or whatever, whoever the person, the patient may be, and I am the best suited person to be granted guardianship. Well, that really means that you have control over all of their affairs and their assets. And so the court would want to be satisfied that you are, in fact, who you say you are. Not just that, but that you do have the best interests of this patient at hand, and not just seeking to grab, you know, make a money grab before mommy and daddy are gone. When the reality is you perhaps don't have a good relationship at all. Right. And the real person who's taking care of them isn't even, they're not even thinking ahead like you. And so they want, I find that sometimes they would say, okay, can you please notify all of the children? Absolutely. I want the courts, I've heard them say that to me, Ms. Farkas, I want all of the children. I want to hear from them, serve them, and I want them to be present in court or even via Zoom. I want to ensure that they're on one accord as much as possible.
That is correct. And it helps when you make your submissions to the court that your affidavit is complete. Yes. It is complete with the historical background, with the family members, those persons who, again, would benefit under the patient, who are dependents of the patient, and a gradual, more or less a storytelling as to how the patient has became in your care, what you do for them every day, how we maintain them, how do we get to this point more?
How do we get here?
Yes, and so that assists the court.
After the break, we're going to discuss perhaps more in detail the type of application itself for those practitioners out there who may not have even known that, hey, we're in a new ball game since 2022. Thanks for watching The Legal Brief. I'm your host, Ramona Farkason.
Battling for B is a joke compared to battling colon cancer.
You want to protect your quarterback? You need to protect your body.
The same way we declare that we will be victorious on Bay Street is the same way you will declare that you will be victorious over colon cancer.
Colon cancer is the third most common cancer affecting Bahamians. Both men and women are affected equally. Fortunately, colon cancer can be prevented by scheduling routine visits with your doctor, by being aware of the symptoms, and by having some form of colon cancer screening when appropriate. If you're over the age of 45, talk to your doctor about having a colonoscopy today so that you can avoid a conversation about colon cancer tomorrow.
It's a joy, to help someone who is in need,
I'm proud to know that we are able to accommodate them with a hot meal, fresh meal, and a well-balanced meal.
A lot of our clients, as you know, it's in the inner city and persons who really and truly and so much have lost their jobs. And for whatever reason, 2 months, 3 months, they really don't have anything. You have to have some kind of kindness to do this.
Welcome back. This is the Legal Brief. We're discussing mental health. And Mrs. Moxie, just before the break, we were about to go into specifically the type of application. So for those out there listening in, when you go to the attorney, what exactly you're asking? Yes, I want to be in control or have guardianship of my loved one, my parent. And so now for the legal practitioner, how do you go about that, moving the courts?
All right, so for this present case and under the new Mental Health Act, attorneys would draft what they call an originating application, which is the commencing document. And in support of that application, there would be affidavits by the applicant or the applicants. You would have affidavits of the doctors who would swear and exhibit their reports in relation to their findings of the patient. Those documents are normally filed and served on who they call the interested parties. The interested parties would be persons other than the applicants who has an interest in the estate of the patient.
So like a class of persons. So if you are a sibling, this is your mother and father. I mean, naturally, you're not the only child.
Right.
If you are, then that's different. But if you're not, then serve. All, even the ones that you don't like and the ones you haven't spoken to for years and who you feel neglect, mommy and daddy, and they have a fight. They all need to be served.
The court will take into consideration every person who is connected to that patient, who would be more or less affected by any orders that they would make. They would wish to hear from them for them to voice their concerns or their consents to the applications made by the applicants.
That's very interesting, because there are times, obviously, relationships that our parents may have, and we're using parents generally because that tends to be the most common that we come across. I've entered into relationships with cousins, and that could be business relationships, or even you've allowed a certain family member to stay in an old homestead or to run the business or the shop. And yes, whereby you, the children, or a particular child may not get along with that person. They're going to be obviously affected when you become the new sheriff in town, in essence. I mean, it's a changing of the guard, for one to speak. And so is it the law say that they ought to be heard as well?
I would say so to a certain extent, yes, that they would be heard if there are business arrangements that are being affected. In addition to that, the court will take into consideration in your originating application the type of orders that you are seeking. So we have applications that can be made for guardianship, and then there are conservatory orders that are also, the court is also empowered to make.
Break that down for us now. So explain that to our listening viewers.
All right, so the guardianship orders would be the regular orders that the court would make, taking into consideration the maintenance and the welfare, the day-to-day, the care control, living of that person, their expenses, things that you would do normally to keep yourself going during the month, during the week, during the year. Conservatory orders, however, are orders that affect the actual property and assets of that patient. So the conservatory orders, or the person who is appointed with that conservatory order, has the right to exercise power and control over your property, to buy and sell, to charge. So the powers are much more wider with the conservatory orders. And the courts are very careful in putting those orders in place. And so the evidence that you are providing the court with to enable it to be able to take a decision will determine what type of order the court will give you at the end of the day. And then, of course, the persons who are appointed with the conservatory orders have the responsibility to be accountable to the interested parties or the heirs or the estate of that patient.
So do you find that conservatory orders are given to a relation or an independent person?
I think it depends on how involved the applicants are or the applicant is in the affairs of the patient.
Right.
And what is necessary for the day-to-day running of that patient.
I think a lot too sometimes depend on the wealth of the patient. I find that sometimes where persons are so involved in business and or have amassed certain wealth, and they may have certain trust, or they receive or the beneficiaries of trust, that you find that you may get more of an independent person. So you may have one person as guardian, but the conservatorship may be going to an independent party who can, a professional, more removed. Because sometimes you may have the same class of persons, children scattered all over the world. Maybe just one or two are here with mom or dad, but the rest are all over the world. And so they too may elect and say to the court, we would prefer if an independent party be responsible for collecting and obviously give the person who has care and control, they get a certain amount out of the estate or from the assets already to take care of mom and dad. And then it's obviously properly accounted for. So there's no... Because, again, you don't want abuse. You don't want to leave this person... You give it to the wrong person or somebody who just grabs and just leaves mommy and dad. At the end of the day, they can't even be buried. You're dead cap in hand trying to bury the person when they would have amassed wealth in their lifetime, and because of a bad order, can't say a bad order, but just misleading the court in some way, not being forthright, then the person becomes destitute. Right. So persons know, I mean, that's really good. This act, like I said, I find it's very detailed.
It is detailed. It is comprehensive. And I think it has improved where we were before, particularly in making the persons who are, in fact, considering approaching the court more accountable and to complete applications to make them more thorough in the evidence that they give before the court.
Now, so we've discussed the type of orders. I now also want us to bring something in that people are commonly think of, and that is this creature power or powers of attorney. Break down for us, because it's commonly used. I'm hearing it a lot. Persons say, Ms. Falkerson, I need a power of attorney. Mommy is in an old folks home. I need to get her, national insurance benefits or the rest. The bank says I need a power of attorney. You know, what is this power of attorney?
Okay, so a power of attorney is a document or a legal document that is created usually by an attorney. And it is given by a donor who is not necessarily a patient and has mental issues, but it's also someone who may be physically disabled and is unable to get around for themselves. And so the power of attorney has a little bit more wider power than what is under the Mental Health Act. It will allow the person who is the donor to give their power and their right to a donee to act on their behalf. So it is more or less stepping into the shoes of the donor.
And the person receiving it Do they have to be a relation?
No, they don't have to have that relationship. They don't need to be connected by law, biologically, to the person that they're going to give the power of attorney to. It just usually should be somebody that you trust, somebody who will be accountable to you and will do and act within the four corners of the document that you've given them.
Wow.
Yes.
It's just as it says, power. You have the power of attorney.
That's correct.
And before we go, well, after the break, when we come back, I want us to talk about the different types of power of attorneys and how do you go about executing those. Obviously, prefer that you go to an attorney, but what are the common sort of clauses in those powers of attorneys that give you the right to act?
Okay.
Yes. You're watching The Legal Brief. We'll be right back.
We have more than anyone else. We are the most. We are news leaders, and credibility is the order of the day.
Why don't you come to the most? Only the Sun can cover you better than our new digital product with exclusive stories and entertaining content.
We are the most. Community TV page and radio community announcements. The most viewers and listeners in the country.
We have the most years of Bahama history recorded. There's no archive like ours.
I came back home to bring you even more news and local programming. We're simply the most, the new ZNS.
And I came back home to make sure that you have the most in information, education, entertainment, and inspiration. We're simply the most, the new ZNS, where only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
Influenza, or the flu as it is commonly called, is a viral illness that usually occurs between the months October to March. The virus is transmitted from person to person through coughing, sneezing, or talking. Symptoms include fever, cough, headache, runny nose, generalized body aches, and fatigue. There is no specific treatment for the flu, and the symptoms usually dissipate after 3 to 7 days. Because it is caused by a virus, antibiotics are not used to treat the flu. Persons are encouraged to rest and drink lots of fluids. Panadol is recommended for fever and body aches associated with the flu. However, aspirin should be avoided due to the risk of bleeding. To decrease the spread of flu, persons are encouraged to get their flu shot annually and practice good cough hygiene. Additional information can be provided by your community clinic or the Health Education Division at the Ministry of Health. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health in partnership with the Public Hospitals Authority.
We seem to remember our athletes when they make us proud at the finish line. Throw a Junkanoo parade when they return home, toss them a few dollars. And then forget about them until the next Members of the prestigious Fourth Estate should never sell themselves to any politician. Instead, keep their hands and noses clean in order to publish or broadcast the unadulterated truth. Well, that's how I see it anyway.
Read as I see it, exclusively at ZNSBahamas.com. New articles premiere on Mondays at 9 a.m.
Welcome back. On this episode of The Legal Brief, we're discussing mental health. And to assist me is attorney Gia Moxie. Ms. Moxie, just before the break, we were going to discuss powers of attorneys. And if you can outline for us, are there different types or are they one and the same?
Okay. So powers of attorney, as we've discussed, is that document that gives you the right to step into the shoes of the person who's giving you the right to govern their affairs.
Manage their affairs. Exactly. You're like them.
Absolutely. And so we have generally two types of powers of attorney. We have general powers of attorney that usually expire within a year.
Just 1 year.
Just 1 year.
You'd be amazed how fast time flies. The moment you get it, before you know it,
yes,
it's up. But go ahead.
All right. So it generally expires within a year's time. That document allows you to appoint a donee to act on your behalf for a particular purpose. So the document itself will outline the things that you want someone to do on your behalf. So generally when you have persons who go into the hospital, and they are physically unable to get up, go to the bank, pay their mortgages, pay their light bill, pay their children's school fees, buy groceries, those sorts of things, collect national insurance. Generally, you'll have a document drafted by an attorney that will allow that person to do those things while you are ailing. So while you are incapacitated.
Or it could even be as well if you're away.
Or if you're away. That is correct.
Persons, they decide to relocate. You know, your children are grown and you want to move away, but you may have a sister or some family member or whomever, a close friend that you trust. You're therefore going to give them the power to say, well, okay, I want you to manage my property. My house, I'm leaving it on rent, so you're going to stand in my stead.
Collect the rent.
Make sure the place is taken. Whatever rights or obligations I have as a landlord, you're going to take those on.
That is correct.
Yes.
All right. And so that is what we call the general power of attorney. The enduring power of attorney is something that is a
whole nother creature.
A whole nother creature.
Same name, but a whole nother creature.
Yes.
Yes.
It is created by statute, and there is a form in the statute. I think it's the Enduring Power of Attorney Act.
Yes.
That allows more or less the lay person to go into the statute and take a look at the form that is required to be filled out by the donor in favor of the donee. And it gives the options in that form for general language as to what you would like that person who's going to act in your shoes to do on your behalf. The main difference between the general power of attorney and the enduring is that if you become mentally incapacitated for any reason, the enduring power of attorney will still stand.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the registration of that enduring power of attorney and the execution of that enduring power of attorney is a little different from the general. And the registrar or the registry of the Supreme Court is the keeper of that document. So that document, whereas a general power of attorney becomes effective when you sign it, and then you can record that at the Registrar General's Department. The enduring power of attorney is a document that becomes effective when you lodge it in the Supreme Court. It is filed and it is kept in safekeeping by the Supreme Court for the duration of that document. In order for the enduring power of attorney to be canceled or nullified, the person giving the power must revoke it in writing, and that must also be filed with the registry or the Supreme Court.
Right. I think people really need to know because that it's not common to have enduring powers of attorney.
No.
Usually, I think for banking or most purposes, persons would have the general power of attorney, which would be executed by an attorney.
That's correct.
I think a justice of the peace as well may. However, some institutions may require to be a notary public to do so. But certainly, they ought to be comfortable in knowing who you are and knowing, number one, that you are corpus mentis to give this power of attorney.
That's correct.
And of course, the attorneys or the notary public must be satisfied with those things. But now, when we're talking about enduring, this is very serious.
That's correct. But because it is not affected, or the validity of the document is not affected by your mental standing, being mentally capable to, and then being mentally capable not to. I think that is the grave difference, and that is why the Supreme Court is the holder or the safekeeper of the document.
And then two of us being recorded. So if it is that you've put it in place, and okay, you've now you're now well, or your circumstances have changed.
Yes.
You, as you say, you certainly need to put in writing, follow the guidelines, go to an attorney, get it properly placed in writing and lodged in the same fashion and recorded, so that persons, God forbid something happens to you, that person with the enduring power of attorney. And I think persons should know, what sort of effect does that have? Similarly, is it similar to that under Section 47 of the new Act, or is it different? Tell us.
It is similar insofar as in power. So if you have an enduring power of attorney that is put in place while you are mentally capable or you have the mental capacity to do so, that enduring power of attorney will continue if you become mentally incapacitated. The Mental Health Act only comes in play when you have not put in place a regular power of attorney or an enduring power of attorney, and then some sudden illness comes upon you, or you are now diagnosed as being fully mentally incapacitated, or you are suffering from some psychiatric disease that you aren't able to take decisions on your own. So you can approach the court under the Mental Health Act for someone to assist you to do the things that you cannot do for yourself.
Yes. So, and of course, it's just as it says, it's enduring.
It is enduring.
And it's key point for persons is that time frame.
That is correct.
This doesn't just fade.
No.
You have to take active steps to bring it to an end.
That's correct.
And so let's say you find yourself, you've given an enduring power of attorney, and then the person becomes, they don't have scopus, then you're pretty much stuck. Or you have to, if you have their siblings, that person controls.
That person controls.
Until death.
That is correct.
That person controls until death.
It is always best suited to have when you are approaching the Mental Health Act and making applications, that there is an application made in the case of where there are siblings, a joint application, where there are two persons acting together. They would more or less be accountable to each other. I think it makes it a little more difficult. And I'm sure that there are circumstances when there's only one person appointed. But I think with respect to accountability, being responsible, being trustworthy, it's always better when you have two applications or two applicants approaching the court for such an order.
Yes, always. Wow. It's, I know people are saying, what? I can't believe it. But and then the clauses as well. When you're dealing with, as you said, this is under the general powers of attorney, more specific. But when you're dealing with enduring, it just really can run the gamut.
You can, because that person under the enduring power of attorney has full reign to do what is necessary for you. Take hold of your property. So they're
it's almost like guardianship and conservatorship all in one.
Exactly. Exactly. And once you give that document, you would have passed over your power to that person who you should be able to trust.
So it's nothing to be taken lightly. So when persons call, as counsels, we say, well, you know what, I think you need to come in. This isn't just a 1 minute conversation on the phone. Ms. Austin, can I get a power of attorney? Well, let's talk about that.
It's correct.
Everything from relationship to the status of the person or the patient. Are they a patient? All of these things we need to take into consideration when executing these documents.
That's correct. And the risk associated with having executed them. What is your recourse in the event that something goes awry?
Yes. When we come back, again, these segments are just rolling on. We need to go deeper into this new act. So many different provisions, starting obviously from Section 7 and onwards, and just letting persons know what are the, for the person, the patient, what are their rights? Do you have rights? People shy away from this term of, they think, you must be crazy. I know you said, don't use that word. Don't use that word. We're now in an era of political correctness. Be very careful. But of course, people begin to treat you in a certain way or view you. So we need to get into it. Thank you for watching The Legal Brief. We'll be right back.
From
From June 1st to November 30th, the ZNS Radio and Television Network is the #1 source in the Bahamas for hurricane information before, during, and after a storm. Now is the time to choose your radio and television hurricane season ad packages. Get extra special rates and run the ads only when you want them to run. Call the ZNS sales office today at 502-3800.
A disabled person, a lot of times we feel like it's just us. And I recognize, even through my bone cancer journey and receiving an amputation, that it was time to join the community around me. So I started to dive into sports, adaptive sports, Paralympic development. So that's how I got into para archery. You know the lens that you have in yourself on your own value. How am I going to be productive? How am I going to leave a mark or do an impact in your community? You're going to have to decide that even in showing up, you're celebrating your wins, but also acknowledging and being accountable for the times that you did not do what you needed to do, but it's never a loss, it's a learn. And so actually helps us to focus on that, focus on ourselves and focus on our actions. Crime-free looks like me.
Do your part. Join the movement to a safer Bahamas.
Welcome back. You're watching The Legal Brief. I'm your host, Ramona Farquharson. So, Moxie, I think we're having such an illuminating conversation off camera, and they're telling us save it for the camera. But yes, we wanted to discuss, when we were leaving, to discuss the rights of the patient. But two, something that really came in and we're finding is, where do people go? What rights do they have? Where, let's say, a parent, they're getting down in age, and one sibling has sort of taken over. They've taken mommy or daddy to live with them. They curtail your contact. You come to visit mommy or daddy. Well, number one, they tell you, listen, you can't take them. You got to just come here, and only when I'm home, the housekeeper doesn't let me in. All of these sort of things are happening. Mommy and daddy can't use the phone. And so it's almost as if now a child needs access to their parent.
Okay.
Is there any sort of, what recourse? How can we help in those circumstances?
Okay, so I think what we first need to understand is the purpose of the order that the court actually gives. It is not an order of exclusion. From my experience, the court tends to have, and that is why they invite the interested parties to come in to sit, so they can have more or less a setting of the persons who would be or would have been involved in the patient's life from a day-to-day basis.
So you're thinking then, to gain access to a parent, you may have to begin a guardianship application?
Not necessarily. Where there is an existing application.
That's it, there's none.
No, there is none. Well, perhaps you may be able to, I think, depending on what position the person who is withholding the parent has, and if they have an order. If they do not have an order, you may have to approach the court under the Mental Health Act to have an application made.
I find that this act allows you to even approach the court to say, I want the person to be assessed.
Yes.
I found that this act gives, and reading through, it gives you the power. So you may, because it may just be that your parent is getting old. They're getting old. They may not have any sort of wrong with them cognitively, but they're declining. They're not as strong. And if you have a domineering sibling or relation, could be a sister or their sister or brother, and you're like, hey, how could you cut my time down and tell me I can't see mommy? I can only see mommy when you home from work. Because, at this point, I find people become suspicious. Like, oh, I don't want you to take mommy because you're going to take mommy to a lawyer. And before
Without
I know, some will, everybody is so suspicious of each other.
That is correct.
But again, so there is a recourse then to them.
Yes. You can approach the court under the act for access to that parent. And the court would take into consideration the wishes of the patient, the
so I think
relationship.
That's where the court
between
may
the parties.
say, I want them to be assessed by a doctor.
Yes.
Yes.
And have that considered. So yes, the act does allow that to happen. It does allow that to happen.
Yes. And then too, stemming from that, of course, would be, I note here in the act, however, about rights, looking at part 3, section 7, and just going right on, they have the patient has the right, constitutional and general rights listed there for those of you, whenever you have time, you please get a copy of this new Mental Health Act of 2022, and from part 3 onwards is talking with the rights of the patient, right to live in a community, section 9. I thought that was very interesting as well, because usually, you know, it just shows the advancement of our society. I don't know if it's so much advancement, but the change, because usually we would keep our elders with us in our homes, but now you have a right to live in a community, right not to be discriminated against, and accessing mental health services.
That is correct. And I think, like I said, we have to understand that the orders that you're getting, it's not an exclusion to exclude anyone or to exclude the patient. It is to keep the patient in the atmosphere that they have more or less grown accustomed to. Their wishes, their expectations, their history, their relationship with persons, their own fundamental rights and freedoms. So it doesn't erase those things from the patient.
No.
All you have as under this act, when you are appointed to act as legal guardian, is the right to care for that person, to maintain that person, to do the things that they can't do. But it is not that the person becomes a blank sheet
Or
of
like a
paper
baby.
or a baby that they
Because
their rights are removed. That's not the case.
This act even went as far as to talk about the right to communication.
Absolutely.
Whether they're in a facility or not. You know, you can't curtail them, or you ought not to take their phones away from them, stop them from calling.
Their
or
right
visit.
to information.
We were just talking about that for persons, but just saying to those, it's the right of the patient.
Yes.
But in this case, of course, we're just canvassing, do you as a child have right to your parents? I mean, persons would think it's automatic that you do, but certainly the patient has rights, but you therefore would have to go, because again, you're talking about an adult. I want to access an adult. It's not like a child. But again, you know, I could always hear my grandmother say, my dear, once a man,
twice a child.
Twice a child. The late Eula Nixon, once a man, twice a child. Get her saying it now, but yeah. So it's good to know that this act it contemplated.
Absolutely.
I find it could have gone a bit further in outlining the rights, perhaps, of next of kin of children in those circumstances to make it a little bit easier, I think. And we'll come to that when we talk about reforms. But those rights are, it's very well drafted in here. Now, in cases of where you may have children who are mentally incapacitated. I find that this act as well touched on the protection of those children, sort of like moving further than from the Child Protection Act and the rights representation. In the case of a child, you're looking at section 19 of the act, and best interest of section 20. And so here again, and then part 5 deals with diagnosis, admission, care, and treatment of a person's mental illness, and children are included in there. What say you about if persons are saying, listen, as this child gets older, I'm having more difficulties in taking care of them. Before, I know persons used to just go to magistrate's court. God bless him. The late Roger Gomez used to have a lot of that. Persons that say who were under the influence of drugs or their children and taking the wrong turn, they would go to the courts and say, I want you please to send them up for, I think it was temporary hold, things like that for a few weeks. They used to call it dry out. I want them to be sober, get sober for a period of time. But now that's stopped. And so here, what sort of application is it now incumbent upon persons to make if, let's say, you have a child, they may be an adult, well, in case they're an adult, but they've fallen, let's say, on the wayside some bit with alcohol or drugs. How do you get them admitted to Sandilands?
Well, I think you have to take into consideration, well, there is the option of what they call, I guess, voluntary admission. Into the
Section 22.
Section 22 allows you to do that. But I think the starting point is getting that person to be assessed, also by the psychiatrist or the medical physician. That will always be the starting point when you are considering a mental illness or putting an order similarly like this that is in place. Again, like I said, there is the voluntary admission into a facility where treatment can be accommodated to that child. Or there may be, I guess, what they call a nominated representative.
Yes. So you're looking like around Section 35. That's correct. Talking with persons. That's correct. Yes. So at least persons can know now that you can move the court.
You can.
Now, when they talk about the definition and looking at what is court, because I know a lot of people thinking, Ms. Robinson, sometimes you want it to be as painless as possible. But here, I went through, in terms of definitions, I gather a lot of it pertains to the Supreme Court, but I didn't see where it was specific or targeted as such.
No, but the application has to be made into the Supreme Court, and that is in the jurisdiction of Section 47. It gives that jurisdiction specifically.
Okay. Yes. So when you're dealing now, so no more than going to, because when it says interpretations, usually they would say, what is a court, whether Supreme or magistrate. But here, definitely Supreme Court.
It is the Supreme.
And so therefore, it's no longer, and I think, again, when we come back after the break to talk about possible reform, they make it a little bit easier for persons, let's say, who may have children, because we now view drug addiction or substance abuse as an illness, not so much as, let's say, criminal, from a criminal aspect. You're watching The Legal Brief. I'm your host, Ramona Farquharson. This is ZNS TV 13.
Hey, what's up, Mario?
Hey, Dale, what's going on?
Have you seen ZNS new digital platforms?
No. Let me go check it out.
Good day, Bahamas. I'm Devontae Hanna, and this is ZNS Digital,
where we cater to your news and entertainment needs. Are you a foodie? I thought so. Then look out for Digital Bites.
Shining a light on Bahamians and the good that they do, ZNS Digital is home to the Sunshine Room.
Keeping up with the latest trends, our original content will keep you entertained.
Yeah, that's cool.
But have you seen the new website?
No, I didn't see it. Let me go look.
We're still your most trusted source for news and information.
That's ZNS Digital?
Yeah, that's ZNS Digital, the people station in your pocket.
Did you know that 1/3 of all traffic fatalities occur as a result of excessive speed? Excessive speed impedes a driver's point of perception, which affects braking distance. In the inner city, residential areas, and high pedestrian traffic areas, the speed limit ranges from 15 to 25 miles per hour. On the outskirts of the island, especially where a sign is not posted, the law dictates that the speed limit shall be 30 miles per hour. The maximum speed limit for the Commonwealth of the Bahamas is 45 miles per hour. Here are some safety tips for you. Avoid aggressive and distracted driving. Reduce excessive speed and drive at the appropriate speed to suit the current road conditions. Avoid operating a vehicle while impaired by alcohol or drugs. Be vigilant and always maintain good visibility of the road, and be mindful of other road users, such as pedestrians. Leave out in a timely manner to compensate for potential traffic delays. Even one life lost to traffic fatality is one life lost too many. On behalf of the Royal Bahamas Police Force Traffic Division, please slow down.
This public service announcement is brought to you by FG Insurance Agents and Brokers, the Royal Bahamas Police Force Traffic Division, and the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
Welcome back. We're in a final segment, Miss Moxie. I promised I wouldn't tell them how long it's taken me to get you to come on and share this wealth of knowledge. I won't tell them how many times. But nonetheless, you're here, and we've had such a good time in going through this area of the law. The old act has been repealed, this new act is in.
That's correct.
What say ye as to your feeling with this? Loving it?
Well, I think I do, for the most part. Of course, you know, there would be assessments later on when the act actually becomes applicable to persons' experiences and circumstances. But this act has more or less been revamped. Based on I think it's a bit more thorough than what we had back prior to
that 230
section in the laws. So I think because it because it specifies the different category of applications that can be made,
making it more clearer, particularly for us as practitioners.
Absolutely.
You know where to go and what you can do and what really you're asking the courts
to do.
Yes.
Exactly. And so I think it has been quite a bit of it has been a healthy move from where we were before to where we are now.
Yes.
And so
it's early days. It's still a honeymoon stage.
It's only been 22.
Still a honeymoon stage
with the act.
We ain't tested yet to be rowing and calling up each other. Hey, do you see this here or don't you see this?
And finding loopholes.
Yes.
For the most part, I think it's a good and thorough piece of legislation.
My only concern, what I was discussing with you off air, would have been dealing with persons. I know parent, particular if you have a loved one that is suffering from drug addiction, substance abuse, alcohol, or other types of class A or B drugs. How to, let's say you don't want to call the police to have them arrested. You don't want them to have a record. You know, there's that obviously that love and care there, but then you know that they're harming themselves and possibly may harm you or steal items because they're just somewhat maybe times, you know, peaks, hills, and valleys. They're really strung out at this point, and you just want them to be able to go and get some help.
Yes.
They're being difficult, obviously, when they get to a certain state. For this act to be, we were looking at section 24, where it talks about a judge or a magistrate being able to grant certain orders for the admission of persons to a health facility. I mean, for many of us, we know it, and it's coming, obviously, admissions of persons diagnosed with or suspected of having a mental illness. And, of course, we're saying drugs or substance abuse falls being considered falling under that. What say you about this section? You think it goes far enough?
To a certain extent, yes. The section is more or less geared towards having or protecting the patient from himself or herself while they are in a state of
manic or sometimes or just.
And so where you have cases of persons who are threatening to harm themselves or behaving violently,
or just, you know,
inability
staying out late, leaving the house open, or just taking items, you know, stealing, selling everything out of the house, you know, they're just out of it.
Yes.
Yes.
So those persons who are diagnosed and are exhibiting those type of behaviors, they are loved ones of those persons can be facilitated by the act in the absence of there being a criminal charge to approach the court for an order. So really and truly you have being admitted into a facility by way of court order or being admitted voluntarily.
Yes.
And so
it's back. So to some of the magistrates who were thinking, oh no, not us, but hey, Section 24 will be interesting to take a good read and to know that, there's, and so it's good to know for all persons. We started off in talking about how God has allowed, and we pray for power, love, and a sound mind. But what do you do when there is no sound mind, or someone is suffering temporarily due to addiction or some other substance abuse? Where do you go? What redress do you have? Hopefully, this segment has provided